just another tale.
Detective Miller caught the case on a Thursday morning. A woman named Claire reported seeing the same man standing in the rain outside her house every night for a week. Miller's voice was practical as he reviewed the file. "Probably just a neighbor waiting for a ride, Claire. Let's not jump to conclusions." But Claire insisted. Her voice trembled as she showed him her security camera footage.
"He never moves, Detective. Just stands there, staring at my bedroom window. And he's getting closer each night."
Miller reviewed the footage. Sure enough, a figure stood motionless in the pouring rain, visible only during lightning flashes. What bothered him was how the figure was indeed closer to the house in each subsequent recording. His tone became more serious. "I'll post an officer outside tonight. We'll get to the bottom of this." That night, Officer Jenkins sat in his patrol car across from Claire's house. At 2:17 a.m., he radioed in, his voice tight with confusion. "Dispatch, I've got eyes on the suspect. He's just standing there in the rain. But there's something wrong with how the rain falls around him. It doesn't touch him." The radio went silent for 3 minutes. When Jenkins spoke again, his voice was different, flat, empty. "Never mind, it's just a shadow," returning to patrol. The next morning, Miller learned Jenkins had called in sick. Claire was frantic when Miller arrived at her house.
"He was at my window last night, Detective. I saw his face. It was changing."
Miller decided to stake out the house himself that night. At 2:17 a.m., the rain began, and the man appeared, standing at the edge of Claire's property. Miller's breath caught as he spoke into his radio. "Dispatch, I need backup. The suspect is here, and the rain, it's moving around him." As Miller watched, the man's head tilted at an impossible angle. Then he began walking toward the detective's car, his movements all wrong. Miller stepped out of his vehicle, shining his flashlight toward the figure. His voice rose in panic as the light seemed to have no effect. "Stop! Police!" The man kept approaching, his features shifting in the rain. Miller realized with dawning horror that the face was becoming familiar. It was starting to look like his own. He stumbled backward, dropping his flashlight. From behind him, Claire screamed. Miller turned to see the man now standing at her bedroom window, looking out at them. And this time, the face was perfectly clear. It was Miller's own face, smiling back at him. Back in his car, his radio crackled to life with his own voice. "We've been waiting for you to come home." Miller stood frozen in the pouring rain, staring at his own face in the window. The figure smiled back with his own smile, then turned and disappeared into Claire's bedroom. A blood-curdling scream tore through the night. Miller's voice was raw with panic as he shouted into his radio. "All units, officer down, 2847 Willow Lane, get here now!" He rushed toward the house, but the front door swung open before he reached it. Claire stood there, perfectly calm. Her voice was different now, flat, emotionless.
"Detective, we've been expecting you. Come in out of the rain."
Miller pushed past her into the living room. The house was cold, unnaturally cold. He saw his double standing at the top of the stairs, still smiling. Miller's voice shook with confusion and fear. "What are you? What do you want?" The figure began descending the stairs, its movements fluid and wrong. Claire closed the door behind Miller, her voice taking on that same flat quality.
"He doesn't want anything from you, Detective. He already has everything he needs."
Miller felt a strange sensation, like his memories were being pulled from his mind. He saw flashes of his childhood, his police academy graduation, his first case, all playing out before his eyes. His voice was barely a whisper as he realized the truth. "You're not taking my life. You're becoming me." The figure was now standing directly in front of him, their faces inches apart. Miller tried to move, to fight, but his body wouldn't respond. The last thing he saw was his own hand reaching out to touch his forehead. Then everything went black. When backup arrived minutes later, they found Miller sitting calmly in the living room. Claire was making tea in the kitchen. Officer Reynolds spoke cautiously as he entered. "Miller, you okay? We got your call." Miller smiled, standing up smoothly. His voice was calm, too calm. "False alarm, everyone. Just a shadow in the rain. Claire here was kind enough to let me wait out the storm." The other officers left, satisfied, but Reynolds lingered, his voice low with concern. "Miller, your clothes. They're completely dry." Miller's smile never wavered as he looked toward the window where the figure had stood. Outside, the rain had stopped, but standing across the street was a new figure, tall, motionless, watching the house. And as Reynolds followed Miller's gaze, he realized with dawning horror that the new figure looked exactly like him.
Thank you for tuning in, and we will meet again with just another tale.